I decided I wanted to make a video because I was listening to talk radio at 88.7. It's a very liberal station. I do like listening to it because I like to listen to other people's opinions. I'm a very opinionated person. And I wanted to make a video about why I'm driving for Uber. You know, because what they're talking about is a shared economy, which scares me because I used to have a retirement. I've cleared out 2 401ks and IRA since 2008. Been divorced and I'm furloughed right now. My income has dropped dramatically in the last couple of years, almost forcefully, because even friends getting education, they're having a hard time finding a job. I got a buddy of mine named Tim, and he won't take a job unless it pays him $60,000 a year. And I can get a job almost anywhere because of my background. I have experience, but it's all machinist in a shop based in the oil industry. And ever since the sanctions on Iran have been lifted, I've kind of desperately searched because of a runaway effect with my bills. As everyone knows, you get late charged, you get punished when you can't make your normal bills, so they charge you more. So it's a drag down. So I decided to, out of desperation, try Uber. And it's nice. I like the fact that you can work anytime you want to. My furlough day is on Monday, and Monday, at least as far as right now, is considerably dead. That I do believe that the Uber driver population in the city is dramatically increasing because of the underbelly of Houston shrinking. The working class in the city is going through its own little Detroit, even though the city is sucking up money through hotels and bars and through the hipster college loan community. And I'm just kind of like in this wedge in between. I'm doing it not because I so much want to. It's not bad, but it's kind of a necessity. If I didn't have to do this, I wouldn't. If I can get overtime at work, if I can sweat and know that I'm making, over $1,000 or more a week, which is what I used to make instead of $800 every 2 weeks, and trying to subsidize that loss, driving people around the city in a vehicle I'm paying for, making my own sacrifice with the entropy of the wear and tear of my tires, engine, and me losing my social time. And they're praising it on the radio. They're like, this is what we want in the future. To me, being an American has turned almost slave-like. I don't go to these restaurants that I'm delivering people to. I got responsibilities and contributions I got to take care of. I've made this decision, and I want to see a manufacturing attribute of this country return. I want to have a 401k. I want to know that in the future I can sell my house and take the equity and move farther out of the city. To finally live somewhere where there's no homeowners association and stuff. And and all these other people are like, well, you can share your house now. You can rent a room. Like it's. Industry was built on hotels. Industry was built on taxi services. And it's some clever individual, some Napster kid. They're coming up with these ideas because of this social media apps. They call it ride sharing, and it annoys me. I'm sharing my car, but I don't want to. I'm doing it because I have to. I'm meeting nice people and stuff. It is made it interesting, but I'm missing events. I haven't been to Comic-Con or Comapalooza. I haven't been out to the Renaissance Festival or Igor's or ACL. I haven't been to anything because I have to do this to survive now. And sharing, isn't caring. Sharing is survival. And this shared, this what they're talking about is annoying. And I don't want to share my house. I mean, I have to renovate my upstairs to a middle-aged man that doesn't have a permanent job. He Ubers, full time, like it's a real job, and he has a baby. He can't pay his rent on time. I don't want that in my house. I want my house. I don't want to share it. The inflating dollar and the deflating economy, it's hurting. It's hurting me. It's hurting a lot of people. It's hurting family members. I do not want to retire in a fifth wheel park. Owning a gas guzzling truck that have to tow around my house, because that seems to be a retirement plans that the elderly and it's just, I think it's time that we have a paradigm shift in our government. This whole green movement and stuff, it sounds great on the surface, but it's like a thin film of green, and underneath that green is red. It's hemorrhaging. And I hear people talking about Obama's been a great president and stuff like that. I hadn't had to cash in retirement to pay my mortgage. I haven't had to look at my house like it's my investment. I used to be just my home. It's like the gears of the economy is forcefully turning, not smoothly spinning. And I mean, in as much as I hate to admit it, because I don't like the guy too much, I'm going to have to vote for like Trump, because there's no other options out there. And I really do not want a continuation of Obama's administration. If you don't re-educate coal miners, that's all they do. That's all their family's been for generations. If you can't find a place to put me, which likes to work with my hands and build things, what's going to happen? We're going to rebel. I mean, we're probably the next terrorist of this country. Are people that are sharing forcefully to survive. It's aggravating. I mean, it's the truth though. And I hear it on the radio like they're appraising it, like it's the future. The future is light rail, going out the suburbs. The future is monorail systems. The future is space, Juno, James Webb. It's not fucking Uber. Uber is not the future. They're going to be sued half to death, consumed by a larger corporation eventually, because it considers itself a ride-sharing service. And it is, but it's all wording. Kind of like quantitative easing is this magic money being printed. Uber is nothing more than a taxi service utilizing the desperate. That's all it is. And that's my opinion about it. I'm glad it's there. It's helped me survive. But that's what it is. It's not the sharing economy. I guarantee you, if you talk to any driver, he would rather have a 9-to-5 job. He would rather have a 401k. If you talk to any of these individuals out there, they're going into this because they have to, because it's the only thing out there they can find a job in. They got mouths to feed. I'm a single individual. I don't have a girlfriend or anything like that. I don't have kids, and I'm surviving because of that, because I don't have that extra expenditure of just family in general. I wish I could sit there and make a lot of money, to lift up the older individuals, my mom, my stepfather, and all that stuff. I wish that social, thinking was still there, but it's not. It's me driving around on a Monday where I wish I could be riding my bike, sweating, getting exercise. It's me in chains by an app that will suspend me for 20 minutes when I have to be told to cancel a ride because my car only seats 3 and people are getting out of a bar to have 5 or 6 people. I love Uber. I'm glad it came here. It helped me get through the last few months, but it's not the future. And I just wanted to make a video about why I'm driving, but this shared economy is unsustainable. Because if I'm frustrated, I guarantee you, people that have lost their retirement, forced into retirement, that have no purpose in this economy, this Obama, no drama, bullshit, people being late on mortgages and car payments. It's unsustainable. And there's going to be a rebellion. And it's going to be violent. And I'm going to participate. And I can already tell you that right now. Once the dominoes start falling, I'm going to be there. Because I'm frustrated myself. I didn't sweat in front of machinery. I didn't get my hand cut up by a piece of carbide. I didn't do that. I did that because, I had a wife. I had a future. And I'm not going to sit there and be like my friends that have gone 6-7 years living off daddy taking his insurance, putting himself in horrible debt, and finding jobs that pay far less than what they expected they would get. It's a promise that's dead, plain and simple. We need manufacturing. We need momentum. We need people landing on planets outside our solar system. We need something to pull us out of this slump, this sharing economy. So I really wanted to get that opinion out. And I want people to post their opinions about what I'm saying down below. I want other people that share the same opinion I have, that something is fundamentally wrong. So like and subscribe, and I will post more videos in the future.